on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 184 of Classic Elite. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
I planted a garden.
A whole garden? Do you have a green thumb?
We'll see. This is my first.
Oh. Then
I've done well with potted plants.
Okay. You have to be attentive to those. I can't even get grass to grow because I keep forgetting to water it every day.
Yeah.
I even bought this this kind that was like twice as absorbent, thinking that it would get me through my forgetfulness, and it did not. So, what kind of stuff did you throw in the garden?
Corn, tomatoes, squash, zucchini, green beans, okra, carrots, cayenne peppers.
Wow, you're not messing around.
I went from learning to crawl to like flying a space shuttle.
Pretty much. And you're going to need to take some vacation days in July and August from work to just sit on your back porch with a gun to shoot all the rabbits that are going to come eat your shit. Do you guys have a lot of rabbits in Tennessee?
We do.
Yeah, they're crazy here in Ohio.
Before I even planted a garden, you walk out and see them scatter.
Yeah.
Like they're freaking everywhere.
So, yeah, I remember my mom, because I thought they're cute, right? In Ohio, we have the big fat white-tailed ones everywhere. Like, you never see a jackrabbit. You only see, like, the real cute bunnies. So I don't think anything of it, and he used to drive my mom nuts because they would eat all of her garden. Well, good luck with that, man. I'll be checking them periodically. If you end up with too much stuff, I'll mail you a box that'll have like freezer packages and stuff, and you can mail me some of your produce. Or if you can it. If Kim is like, you know what, we're going old school. We're going to can all this crap. Feel free to send me a can because you'll want to get rid of it.
A free squash for every one of our YouTube subscribers. How about that?
But I want something. You have to. Although lately we've had a nice little uptick in our YouTube. For us anyways. The needle's kind of wiggled a little bit. We hit 9,800 subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
Finally.
Yeah, so just 200 away from 10,000, which would be amazing. So
yeah,
if anybody's checking this out on YouTube, make sure to tell your friends to subscribe. Hopefully they will. So outside of the garden and all that fun stuff, anything else go on this week, or was that pretty much like did that consume your week? Tilling and planting and
pretty much, because I did it all by hand.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was I started Saturday and finally got everything planted last night.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good luck. I would feel so bad for you. Spend a week for work and you get no yield.
At the very least, I know where to till next year.
Okay.
If I get a tiller. It was pretty good timing because I got everything planted last night, and then today we've already got 2 really good rain showers, so I feel good about it.
Nice. My neighbor, before I think he passed away, he had this amazing garden that he had built up in kind of like a sandbox fashion. He'd have these wooden planks that held the bed, so it was like elevated off of the top of his yard. Hey, Biff and Skylark, our good buddy, is hosting us right now. So there's a couple of viewers over there. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to chat. So thanks, Biff. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Thank you.
He's doing this 2 years of Twitch stream challenge where he streams for at least 2 hours every day. And he always streams on Thursday nights or Wednesday nights when we record. So it's cool that he's able to jump in and join us. So thanks, dude.
Yeah, man.
Check him out on Twitch, twitch.tv/BiffMcSkylark. And that's the same on Twitter and YouTube and all that great stuff. So
getting that hot Biff traffic.
That's right. So I also think I saw on Twitter or something that he joined a there's like Twitch kind of groups where like everyone will take turns and you can kind of be part of a network or whatever.
Cool.
So congrats to him on that as well. So yeah, and then also want to make a quick announcement. It's a Biff's group is DVS Gaming. If people are into Twitch networks, check them out. Very cool. So, but before we jump in, we want to remind everybody that our RSS feed is changing on the back end. If you're a subscriber to the audio podcast, you shouldn't notice any difference. But if it's the middle of June and you haven't seen any new episodes, go ahead and resubscribe to the audio version of our podcast wherever you get the podcast, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, just directly from our site with your podcast catcher. Dustin, we've been around long enough, and we've been freebooted on so many crazy, weird platforms that every Android app I've tried, we're searchable.
Oh, right on.
So we should be good to go.
That's awesome.
But you shouldn't notice anything, but just in case, another PSA. And I'll also send out a short mini podcast as a final warning, like, hey, resubscribe if you don't see anything next week. And I'll cut the cord and we'll switch to our new thing, and hopefully all goes well. And then as far as what I've been up to, I've just been busy, so playing some games. My buddy from Beijing was still in town, so I got to hang out with him last night. We just kind of caught up on Game of Thrones and grilled out, drank some beers. So
that's awesome.
So, yeah, let's jump into some news.
Let's do it.
My favorite article from this week, Dustin, is from our buddy Patrick Klepek. And over at Kotaku, he wrote an article that showed that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, remember the old NES game? Not the arcade one, but the first one? Mm-hmm. There was a DOS port of that game. It looked unbelievably bad. But not only did it look bad and it sounded bad and all that, it was impossible to beat. You know how those jumps would get ridiculous in that game?
Uh-huh.
There was a glitch where one of the sewer levels would render incorrectly and the jump would be too wide to make because your head would hit a ledge before you could jump all the way over. So if there was nothing above you, you could make that jump, but because there was something that rendered above you, you were boned.
Oh, man.
It was just so that was the day before like the internet and stuff pretty much. So there was no patching. You beat the game if you got to that point. So I don't know. I've never experienced that. Where close to. At the end of Sonic Generations, I couldn't figure out how to beat that boss, and that felt like a glitchy mess. But that game was so good leading up to it, I forgave it.
In Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo, there's a conversation you have, and the progression is based on like these keywords that you get, and then you can ask people later.
Okay.
And if like you go up to the character and you're talking to him, and if you back out of the conversation, the character will back away and you can't talk to him again. And if you don't get that prompt, you can't finish the game.
Oh, did that happen to you, or were you just aware? Oh God, that sucks.
It did.
The closest I got, and you know how I'm a baby about spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So when Skyward Sword had a game-breaking bug late in the game, I was just terrified because I wouldn't look online to see how to avoid it. But so anytime I felt a little lost or stuck on a puzzle, I was like, is this it? Or am I just doing it wrong? It was this really weird negotiation I was constantly doing with myself towards the end of that game. But I did get one tip that didn't ruin anything. And it said, if you've played Zelda games before, just play them like you normally would, and you'll be fine. I did that, and I was all good to go. But yeah, if you would talk to a Goron dude at the entrance of something in the wrong order of events, you could go into this cave that he was supposed to then open a door for, and he wouldn't. And there was no indication that like, it didn't trigger a cutscene, so there was no reason for you to know he was supposed to do something else. So you would go into the cave, you'd be walking around free to go, and not have a clue where to go, because it didn't feel broken, it just was. And
Now, that's like tens of hours into that game, right?
yeah, but they did. You gotta love Nintendo. They made a free channel on the Wii, so you'd go into the virtual console or whatever, not the virtual, but the eShop or whatever, download this separate Skyward Sword channel that would patch the game. They couldn't just
Right.
they couldn't just patch it directly, which wasn't that long ago, but that feels so archaic.
Yeah.
So that would suck. I saw a couple of comments on the Kotaku thread that they're like, yeah, this was the worst Christmas present ever. Because the sewers in that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game are early on, so I assumed it was one of those. And Patrick found somebody on YouTube that had footage of it, so he was able to show a screenshot of what was supposed to happen, and then a screenshot of what the DOS game was like. It's like, oh, that sucks.
I wonder if you know the right DOS prompts, if you can get it to load correctly.
Maybe. But I wouldn't see why. You'd almost need to put it in like debug mode where you could like actually get to the code and then recompile it, I would think.
Yeah, something like
I'm
that.
not a programmer, so I could just be completely wrong about that. But it sounds like you'd have to take the text file or whatever, all the numbers, edit it, and then send it through whatever, put it into the game form so it was readable again. I don't... what 8-year-old's gonna... Like, you could never know how to do that, right? Because odds are, if you were a computer dork then, all you still knew was how to program in BASIC. You weren't writing AAA games or whatever, so... Dustin, Overwatch released. And I've got a question. Mike T, if you still listen to the show, buddy... I was playing some Rocket League, and I saw that he was playing Overwatch Origins Edition on PS4 just a couple of minutes ago. I want to know what he paid for it.
Yeah.
Because he got it on PS4. Now, there were a lot of people that bought Overwatch on Amazon, because if you're a Prime member, you get the 20% off.
Mm-hmm.
So for $8 more on PC than the standard version, you could get all the skins, and basically you could get everything I got for $12 less. If I would have gotten the physical copy and not been an idiot and just clicked immediately when I got the email to buy it, I would have had that for a little cheaper. But, I don't know. With all of the positive buzz that has been going on around this game, what's the price point that you would pull the trigger for?
I don't know that I would.
Man, it's just so... I haven't played much of it, but it's really fun, man. I think you would like it.
It seems like such a time sink.
Really? I mean, every match starts over. Like, you don't have to upgrade stuff, and the stuff you unlock is like skins, or it's all cosmetic. There's no like upgrading your weapon, or if you're a higher level then you have an advantage or anything like that.
No.
But it is Team Fortress style, and I know you're not much of a shooter guy, so I was wondering what would be your
I don't know, like $20. If everybody that, like, if you and I and a couple other people like Mike and Zira, Duhmez were like super into it, then I'd think about it.
Okay. I'm pumped.
Or no, I would do it at that point.
To John, yeah, I'm okay. So there is and at $20, I'd be willing to buy it on another platform, because most people would have it on PS4 or whatnot. And I've got my I'm getting an OBS error, so hopefully we'll be okay. Calm down, computer. Calm down. It's okay. Something's running. So, anyways, Overwatch, it released. It looks cool. I haven't played it since it's been released. I only played the beta, but it was fun. Doom has been distracting me. I kind of want to finish Doom before I jump into a bunch of Overwatch. But yeah, well, like I was saying, I would be willing to buy it on two different platforms because I have friends I play with that are just the only games I play with them are Blizzard games,
Hmm.
and then everybody else I play other games with. So it's weird that they're fragmented like that. Um, and then, did you happen to see the news story about Fox and Family Guy related to YouTube?
I saw something about it, like a DMCA.
Yeah. So Fox stole YouTube footage of an old Nintendo game and used it in a Family Guy episode.
Hmm.
After the Family Guy episode was published, they DMCA'd the video they stole from.
Okay, that's horrible.
And that's disgusting behavior.
Who? What video did they take from?
It was a basketball game. Maybe it was Double Dribble. It was an NES game. Maybe it was Double Dribble or there was a basketball game that had like some sort of fighting word in the title. Shoot.
I'm blanking.
I'm embarrassed I don't know this. It was like I don't know.
Arch Rivals.
Boom.
That it?
Yeah, because there was fighting in it. That's what it was. You could like punch each other. I think it was Arch Rivals. It was either Arch Rivals or Double Dribble or a game that looked like that they stole.
Okay. And was it just like some random like YouTube user?
Yeah. I'll put an article in the show notes so you can check it out and our listeners can as well.
Oh man.
But what a bunch of dicks. Like,
Yeah.
that's some nerve. Even if it slipped through the cracks from an automated process, things can just happen where the right hand doesn't know what the other's doing. So
Hmm.
maybe some intern was just reviewing stuff and like, oh yeah, that footage is in our episode. Take it down. And that person didn't know that video was up before the episode was created. So maybe it wasn't intentionally malicious, but come on, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then also Austin Walker over at Giant Bomb. I think he's the one that broke this story. I apologize to the person that did if it wasn't in fact Austin. But there's going to be a more powerful Xbox One in 2017 with a Slim in 2016 coming out.
Can you play used games on it?
I have no idea.
That's weird.
It's just weird because of the timing. Like PS4 just announced, a couple weeks ago that they were doing that. So, Biff has a suggestion for us. He says that we need to set gaming talk shows and what you are currently playing on Twitch. Oh. Yeah, dude, I have no idea how Twitch is set up. This is like strictly for helping archive and stuff. So if we're in the wrong category, I'll have to check into that. We don't know what we're doing on Twitch.
Yeah. Right now we're under politics, I think.
Okay, perfect. Oh, we do complain about crazy SJW stuff. Gaming talk shows. Oh, that's awesome. We will have to fix that. Thanks for the tip, man. Yeah, it'd be cool to get some new people in here with Twitch, but also a little nerve wracking, like when people are actually watching it happen live, because the wheels fall off from time to time. So it's nice to be able to fix that.
Just to be expected.
That's true. People, I'm sure, are used to it on Twitch because it's live and it's new. So, but yeah, it is surprising. I agree with you. The Xbox One getting a bump in performance. Do you think
Just both of them? Like having such weird half steps in console generations is weird.
It is. Nintendo's done a good job with kind of masking doing that on their handhelds.
Of just not innovating in 10 to 15 years.
No, they did on the handhelds. They did good.
Okay.
On the consoles, not so much. But I think it's pretty weird. Yeah, Biff does make a point that the Xbox does need to be more powerful in general. It is lacking behind, and yeah, and it'll probably help with their uh, Windows Universal App thing.
Oh yeah.
Like if the Xbox is closer to the PC, they might run into less issues, or they might have more flexibility about settings they can unlock for the PC. So, yeah, and Biff makes another good point that devs are saying that new versions of consoles are a nightmare for developing. Uh, and I would believe that. When it comes to a PC, they can issue patches very quickly and don't need to get them recertified and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if this means that they have to get double certified, or if they have to pay double to get a patch to go through or whatnot.
Yeah, they so far they stated that like the more powerful consoles will just have like an enhanced version, and everything is going to work across the board, so they're not going to fragment their market.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I think eventually it's going to be like, yeah, that first PlayStation 4, it's not going to work anymore. That first Xbox One, we're not going to be making games for that anymore. You're going to have to upgrade.
If they reached that point, that would be bizarre. I don't know. It caught my. There's not a lot of news this week. That caught my attention. Austin's. Do you listen to the Beastcast much?
Mm-hmm.
He's great on that.
Yeah.
He's a smart dude. I don't always agree with him, but at least when he makes a point, it's generally really well thought out. So I can at least see where he's coming from, which is always nice when you disagree with somebody, to be able to understand at least understand their point, even if you think it's wrong,
Yeah.
It does remind me of have you ever seen the Bill Nye meme? That's like, if I agreed with you, then we'd both be wrong.
That's good.
And lastly, did you happen to see Hyperlight Drifters Collector's Edition? Google that right now. Just go to Google Images.
I can just copy and paste.
Copy and paste. Google Docs. The cloud is amazing. Oh, while you're doing that, I got a Chromebook, man.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
The Collector's Edition, isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
It's like
man.
It's like a better blue than the old, like, not Wisdom Tree. What were they called that made comic?
Wonder Tree? Wonder Wisdom Books?
Wisdom Tree, maybe.
Wisdom Tree. Books of Trees.
But they made, they were the company that made these weird shaped blue unlicensed carts for the NES.
Yeah, they're usually like Bible stories.
Usually a Bible story, but they also made that comic one, comic something. I remember renting it.
Comic Sans.
Oh God, that makes me shudder, dude. Well, some of our customers like to use that in their ads. It's like, oh my gosh.
Perfect.
But yeah, the Hyperlight Drifter Collector's Edition, if you haven't seen it, it is a Super Nintendo cart that is kind of a light blue or an aqua green sort of color.
It's like a neon blue.
It's just beautiful. Like,
yeah.
And it comes with a neat box and stuff. But yeah, it looks super cool. Biff is saying that Color Dreams was the company.
Was that the game? Oh no, it was a developer.
Okay. Also, Master Chu and the Drunken Who is his favorite colored stream games. I had never heard of that until I saw it on an emulator. I've told the story before how I got a Dreamcast in college that played NES ROMs on a disc, and I was just scrolling through looking for games I'd never heard of, and one of them was Master Chu and the Drunken Who, and I didn't like it very much. So, yeah, if you have not seen Hyperlight Drifters Collector's Edition, it's a really cool indie game, pixel art, very difficult. Comparing it to Dark Souls as is played out is comparing something to Rogue. but people call it, as hard as Dark Souls or whatever. So that's really cool. So check that out. You can get our show notes about any of the stories we've talked about at classicelite.com. So, oh yeah, Dustin, we also forgot to talk last week about the Resident Evil 7 rumors that potentially they're going to release something at E3 or whatnot. Do you remember talking about that? So what's the deal with that?
There's a good chance that Capcom is going to bring out some Resi 7 footage, and it's apparently going to go back to the roots of the series, like the horror roots.
Cool.
But I think they said that was 6.
Wasn't 6 still pretty much a shooter?
Yeah.
You think that they'll have an option to flip on tank controls if they're quote unquote going back to their roots?
Maybe. That'd be cool. I don't know, it depends on what kind of perspective they got.
I get to go back to their roots, they'd have to just keep you really claustrophobic, so maybe it would make sense.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have better load times between those doors.
Or not. I like the door animation.
Really? You never got tired of that?
No. I mean, it's like, the loading animation in real life.
It's okay. Deal. I'll accept that as a legit response.
I haven't clipped through the floor once, so it's got to be good.
This Matrix we're in is awesome. No bugs. Just deja vu, right? And then Biff has also heard, or Biff's just making a comment that Capcom just releases remasters now.
Yeah.
People have been yelling about Capcom for quite a while, so hopefully their fans have really stuck with them over the last 10 years, and they really haven't done much to appease their fans. They've just made them upset. It's the only time I hear about Capcom in the news is, they pissed their fans off again.
But at the very least, people are like, well, they haven't gone full Konami yet.
Yeah, but at least Konami owned up and like, we're out, we're done. We are done. Biff agrees with you, man. He would like to keep the loading doors in Resident Evil, so I stand corrected. And I think he brings up Street Fighter V being what's the word I'm looking for? Not well received. I lament? Is that what I was trying to say? I don't know. People were mad because there was no campaign. There were features missing, all that kind of stuff, and it felt and it felt rushed so that it could fall in the correct financial quarter.
Yeah, got to get those numbers up.
So, and that's a bummer because they forgot how many people casually like that series a lot too. It's not just the hardcore scene that's really into fighting games. A lot of us still just love Street Fighter because we played the hell out of it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Or at the arcade or whatnot. So
I'm super lucky because I can just play my Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait till Street Fighter 5 to come out.
Did they come out with... They came out with a couple of different versions on Super Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was World Champions, and then Championship Edition, and then Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition.
Okay. I don't remember which one I have.
Hopefully it's Turbo. I think that's the best one.
I think that might be what I have. And I had the Super Nintendo, or the Genesis one as well, which was Championship something.
Mm-hmm.
It was quick. It was fun. I like the Super Nintendo one better.
Yeah. I'll just throw it in and play through the campaign with Ryu every once in a while.
So, Dustin, that should do it for news. What have you been playing, man?
Not a whole lot. Just because I've been out digging holes. But I did play some Dark Souls 3 co-op, helping other people beat the bosses because I was kind of trying to stretch that out a little bit. Because I don't have the only thing I have left to do is as far as main storyline is considered, all I have to do is beat the final boss, and I'll be done with the game. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I was thinking of I didn't know if I was going to try and immediately start a new character and go through it again. But right now, excuse me, I had to cough. Right now, I'm high on it, and I don't want to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to beat it and put it aside.
Gotcha.
Because if I keep playing it, eventually I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, and I'm gonna kind of burn out on it.
Yeah.
So I think I want to finish on a high note and just set it aside. And if I want to go back to that and like get trophies or play through it again or whatever, then I can do that.
That's smart. And when you get to that point, if you do just want to flip it on for a few minutes, you can go try to help someone out, do that, and jump out and feel totally cool about it.
Yeah.
And you can also unload some unhacked items that aren't as good as what you've collected, but still pretty good. So you can hook people up, you know? Biff suggesting Salt and Sanctuary. It's like a 2D retro game. Did you see that at all? It was talked about.
I think so.
A couple months ago.
Does it start on like a pirate ship or something? It starts on a boat.
I've seen a little bit of game.
Through?
I don't know, but a lot of people that enjoy Dark Souls and old video games really seem to love that. So,
okay,
at least put it on your Steam wish list. So maybe you can play Steam again. I have no idea. I don't think so, but I could be totally
not a real
wrong.
video game.
I have no idea. It's I saw a really funny photo that someone posted. Colin Moriarty retweeted it, and it was like Greg rubbing, like his glasses were off his face, and he was like rubbing his eyes, and Colin had his hand in his head. It was just a funny snapshot, and the person on Twitter's like, "This is Greg and Colin finding out that their son is converting to PC or hates consoles or something like that," and it just looked like the most disappointed parents you'd ever seen. It was really good.
PS4. Okay, it's as if Dark Souls was a Metroidvania game.
Oh, that's
right up my alley.
That's almost like answering that dream question. What kind of game would you want? You're like, I don't know. Dark Souls Metroidvania would be sweet. Well, good deal. It looks like you've also been playing some retro stuff.
I want to. I was kind of focusing
for some retro. I should learn to read.
Nah, it's overrated.
Okay. Thank you.
I've been focusing on Dark Souls 3 primarily, so I haven't been playing anything else. But I've been watching a guy on YouTube called SNES Drunk.
I've noticed that popping up in our feed. I haven't watched any videos, but it's like one of the most recommended channels, so I know you've been diving in.
Yeah, it's really good. He explained why his channel is that, and he's like, well, I play a lot of Super Nintendo games, and I'm frequently drunk, so SNES drunk. Like, okay, all right, well done. But he has really good like 4, 7, and like 20-minute videos, depending on what you want to, what you're watching. Like he'll do something like blah blah blah. Is it worth playing today? And it'll be like a 3-minute video on like, yeah, okay, this has this mechanic and this mechanic, and it looks good. Yeah, it's still worth playing. But man, watching those, I've been wanting to play some Super Nintendo bad.
I'm in the same boat. I think I mentioned last week I played some Turtles 2 on the NES with my brother when he was in town, and I'm in the same boat. And I've been in a Genesis mood, so hopefully we'll have either some Genesis or some NES footage to put back up. And yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm surprised the upscaler in my TV works great. I took the Retron 3 and Turtles, and it looked awesome.
All right.
I mean, you get the sidebars from putting it in 4:3. I can't play it stretched. That just drives me insane.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But when you put the aspect ratio to 4:3 and play it, it was clean. It flickered the right way. I mean, there's no scan lines, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm also real forgiving. Maybe a lot of people remembered playing on like an old shitty CRT, like not a good CRT, and they didn't notice all the flickering tricks that they did to make a game run more, fit more information on the screen. But I think it's totally playable, and I think it looks great. So
I also picked up. I've actually picked up a few games. I did back when I was spinning birthday stuff. I got Lords of Shadow 2 on PlayStation 3.
okay,
I want to play through that. I used some PlayStation Store credit to buy Mirror of Fate HD, which was the 3DS Castlevania.
oh okay,
So it's like the in between Lords of Shadow 1 and 2.
yes.
And
Unfortunately, I didn't care for that one very much. But what platform did you get it on? PS3.
PS3.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 3DS one was really clunky and had frame rate drops and stuff.
Yeah. I it was on a handheld, was why I didn't like it. So that makes sense for me.
I love Lords of Shadow so much that I bought that. I pre-ordered that one when I got it.
Oh wow.
I wanted to love it,
Yeah.
and I couldn't.
I wonder if you'd like it if you could like controller it and it performed well.
Maybe, you know.
Being HDified.
Yeah.
So let's see. I got Lords of Shadow 2. I got Mirror of Fate. I picked up Metro Redux, which was Metro 2033 and the Last Light, the sequel.
Yes. I don't remember the order, but then they have like an HD or like a PS4 version come out, right?
Yeah, that's what I picked up, the
Cool.
PS4 version. Both of them on one disc. And just today I got Excalibur 20-something, some future year for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I saw SNES Drug playing it, and I was like, man, I played that game. I wanted that.
Excalibur.
It's literally X, Caliber. It's so 90s.
Oh, Excalibur 2097.
97, that's it.
No, that's not the cover I was thinking of. I am not familiar with that game at all. I wonder what cover.
I remember it coming packaged. Like, you could get Illusion of Gaia, Excalibur 2097, and like an Illusion of Gaia t-shirt at Toys R Us.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like this big plastic thing.
Is this like a beat 'em up?
Kind of. It's like a side-scrolling action platformer where you use the sword the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, because the screenshots I'm looking at, some of them give me kind of a Golden Axe meets Final Fight sort of a thing. But just from these screenshots, like
yeah. I thought it was cool when I played it back in the day because, like, if you did a horizontal slash, you could cut enemies in half horizontally, and if you did a vertical slash, they would cut in half vertically.
Nice. That's ahead of its time, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Very cool. So, and then it looks like you've gotten some video stuff figured out.
I finally got that Dark Souls video to render.
Awesome. How'd you do it?
What I did was I took the raw video file and I uploaded it to YouTube.
And
then I used a video converter to download it. And then I used that video to do it.
Now, I'm sure Duhmez is just screaming right now. Like, that's the most convoluted way you could have done that.
It's the only way I could get it to work. I tried almost everything that Xerix sent me that one time. Everything except for like deleting the codecs used to. He said he didn't feel like Googling it, and I was like, well, if he's not going to do it, I'm definitely not going to do it. But yeah, even like to give you an idea, I uploaded the video, and it took like forever for the processing bar to fill up.
Mm-hmm.
And when it filled up, it started over. What? And it said like, we'll be done processing in like 2.5 hours.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and it was done.
Okay.
After I downloaded it, I still had to fix the audio because the audio was off.
Oh my God. That sucks. It's funny to hear about, but I feel bad for you.
I earned every single one of the 21 views that we're going to get on that video.
Yes.
It's like one view per hour
I
of
was just
production.
gonna say the amount of time you've dumped into getting this part out. I might have given up and said, just given a little 2-minute PSA video. Sorry, part 7's gone. There's an hour. We're just gonna pick up from here. Oh, but that reminds me, I did think of you. I saw a press release that Sony is selling off their software stuff, which I'm assuming would mean Vegas. So someone will either take that name and make new iterations of it, or Vegas will just disappear. It'll be Ask Jeeves. It'll be Alta Vista. It'll be Encarta.
Well, if somebody buys that and then actually supports it, that'd be great.
Yes. Yes, it would. It's nice for what we do. We don't need Premiere.
Yeah.
Like, if this was our job, we'd probably have the Adobe subscriptions,
Mm-hmm.
But all we need to do is be able to move audio around a little bit, level some stuff, do some Star Wars swipes between cuts, and be on our way.
Sync crossfade.
Yes. Which, if you watch all of our episodes, like the full duration of our YouTube episodes, occasionally you'll get a ridiculous transition in our podcast because try to be a little goofy when we have a technical issue. I have to do some editing. So, well, good for you, man. I'm pumped you got that out of the way. I'll watch that one for my personal account, so we'll have 22 views.
I just had an idea. This whole summer, I'm going to put all of our videos in a single playlist, and over the summer, I'm just going to set every computer in every one of my schools to just cycle those playlists.
That is against YouTube terms of service. We are not going to do that.
Just kidding, Google. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah. Good deal. Well, I guess for me, is that it for the week? I'm sorry. I assumed it was because your bullet points are done.
Dina Natalie, who goes by Cybercat on YouTube, started her Soul Reaver Let's Play. And I watched the first episode. It's pretty good.
Good? Okay.
Yeah.
I should know Soul Reaver, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it's the second Legacy of King game. It came out on PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast.
Okay, yep. I wasn't familiar with that game. You had to tell me about it. Doom is still great.
I hear good things.
I heard them talking about it on the Bombcast, where people that don't have strong nostalgia for Doom are really enjoying it, and I'm one of those people. I played a little bit of the shareware as a kid. My friend Matt had it. And it's weird. I talk about all these friends named Matt. I promise I don't have one friend named Matt. It's like the most common name by like a magnitude of 4 out of any name of males I've ever met. I know more Matts than anybody.
You need like Matt, Matthew, Maddie.
I do, but they all go by Matt. Like only 2 of them really know each other, so there was no need for a nickname.
Yeah.
And there just wasn't. My 2 grade school buddies, Matt, I do game or played a lot of games with them growing up. One I still play games with quite a bit. And my other buddy, Matt, who I play Doom with, I don't play games with him, but see him occasionally for get-togethers. My middle school friends still get together pretty regularly, which is insane. We've all been friends since like 1st grade. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I still hang out with my high school friends a lot. And if you would have told me in college, I would have sworn that was the group that would like be in my wedding or I'd go on family vacations with or whatnot. Totally not the case. It would absolutely be my middle school and high school friends. There's only a couple of college buddies I still chat with. But in that moment, because it was the first time you felt like you were an adult, so you had this different kind of bond, you know. But it was fleeting. So hopefully, some of my
once you're around everyone and you're sober, you're like, man.
It's not that. It's really not. But there's only a couple of college buddies that I'm still really good friends with and stay in close contact with. The proportions are skewed for my earlier friends. But it's nice because my really good college friends are in Cincinnati, where my brother lives, and they're also friends with my brother. So it's a big,
Cool,
big shindig whenever I go down. I feel welcome. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, Doom is still great. I am having a hard time watching YouTube videos because Doom must have sent out a ton of press copies as the game released. Because everybody I watch that does commentary over gameplay footage, all are playing Doom. They used to play, I don't know, like Counter-Strike or some other first-person shooter that I don't play. But now I don't want to have the weapons spoiled for me. I want that, like, oh, this upgrade's so sweet. And I'll watch these people playing Doom, and not only are they better than me, but they've got sweeter guns. So I don't care what they have to say. I'm not watching. But I did fail to complete Doom and Ratchet and Clank like I said I was going to by this podcast, so that I could play some Overwatch. But things happen.
I really want to buy Doom, but I bought Dark Souls 3 recently, so
makes sense. It'll eventually.
I try not to buy full price games.
That's a wise choice. I got caught up in hype. I'm happy with it though, so I don't have any buyer's remorse.
No.
But it's great.
Oh, Mirror's Edge comes out soon.
Does it really?
Yeah, the second one comes out June 7th.
Man, there wasn't really much. There was a lot of hype when it was announced, but I haven't heard much about it releasing soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Giant Bomb says about it, so I can form an opinion from that.
It does feel like it's the easiest way to kind of scoop up. They all have such different opinions. Yeah, and the quick looks. And, that reminds me, did you know that they're making another Alice in Wonderland, like a Tim Burton style? I don't even know if Tim Burton's the dude doing it, but it's called Through the Looking Glass or something.
Movie?
Yeah. Remember that really crappy one that came out 4 or 5 years ago?
Johnny Depp in it?
Yeah, there's a sequel, and I just saw an ad for it in the last day or so, and it's coming out like this weekend or next. I've heard nothing about it. So that leads me to believe that Disney or whoever saw it were like, well, this is a turd. We're yanking the marketing money from this and hope it breaks even on its name alone.
Maybe since Doom has done so well, everybody's just no longer doing marketing. They're just like word of mouth, man.
If you can pull it off, it's the way to go. I think they want to bury it, though. I couldn't believe they made a sequel. That Johnny Depp one was so crappy. It was. Did you see it?
No, I saw the trailer and I was like, wow.
I don't like Johnny Depp much, but I can get past it if it's a good movie.
Yeah. He was awesome in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, that's right. And he was in the earlier one. Was it in the first one?
Yeah, first one.
That's it was like his 21 Jump Street days when he just looked like a
when he was like 13.
Yeah.
Left ear pierced, hair all spiked up.
That's right. Yes. The somewhere between like Tom Cruise and Charlie Sheen, he was like
yeah.
That's right. I haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street in so long. My mom was so freaked out about me watching R movies when I was a kid that my only real exposure to Freddy Krueger was Halloween. Kids dressing up on Halloween. I'm sure that would be banned in schools now, but whatever. So I haven't played Overwatch yet, but I did remember that Forza 6 Apex is free in the Windows Store.
Oh, snap.
So I downloaded it, and the Windows Store experience wasn't so bad.
Okay.
It seemed to download quickly, and it's Forza, man. It it didn't hit me in the face right away. I played maybe an hour of it. I raced a Ford GT as the tutorial, and then it started me with like a 65 Mustang or something like that.
Sweet.
And it felt kind of like an old muscle car, not sharp turns. And
Hmm.
then there were some upgrades and felt a little bit better. And it wasn't as pretty as I was hoping.
Oh,
It kind of felt like last generation. It felt like Horizons looked just as good.
I wonder if they kind of dumbed it down so it would play on more machines.
Yeah, maybe, but there still were graphic settings, and it wasn't like completely robust, but it was pretty good as far as the quality that you could change. It wasn't just high, medium, low, or whatnot. You could have different anti-aliasing options and
Ultra.
vertical sync, ultra. So I don't know. It just when I played the game, it was fine, but I was just when I think of Forza, I think of gorgeous.
Hmm.
And I just didn't get that from I just assumed it would be that way with the PC.
Yeah, by now you should think that you're just looking out a window.
Kinda, yeah. Especially after like Doom, when Doom's not going to blow you away graphically, but the way they do the motion blur just makes it feel so fast.
Hmm.
And with Forza, it didn't feel as fast as like Doom did, which was kind of interesting. But I don't know what it's like after you get maybe 5-10 hours into the game. But they weren't egregious with the microtransactions up front. It seems like they let you get your feet wet before they start hitting you over the head with the fact that you only have a sliver of the game. But it's free, so that's fine.
You run out of energy and you have to wait a couple of days.
Oh, God, that would be terrible. And they call it like running out of gas, and you could buy more gas to get through 2 more races.
You can race again right now.
That would be horrible.
99 cents.
And then I've continued to be a little hooked on Rocket League. Try to play a game or two a night, and I'm getting better again. I'm really getting into the groove. I'm making some good shots. I'm winning frequently, and I've got almost all of the different like placement match categories, like the competitive categories. I've got almost all of my qualifying matches to get a proper ranking on the PS4. I think I have all those taken care of on PC, but I would get impatient with the waiting. So the vast majority of my playing on Rocket League was not in competitive mode. I would just jump into a game in the kind of for fun modes. But that's what I've been playing. It was a pretty good gaming week, even though I've been real busy. I got to touch on a lot of different stuff, so that was fun. Now let's get to emails and YouTube comments, and then we'll call it a show. So, Dustin, I got one of my favorite emails. Well, actually, we'll get to Duhmez's email real quick. Duhmez is awesome with Mario Maker, guys. He has a good eye for what's fun, and he has a good eye for developing stages. And he says, I bet you have never seen something as cool as this Mario Maker level. He saw a guy on YouTube teach him how to do it. So I will put this in the show notes. I'll even put it on the YouTube show notes. But the course ID is 3673 0000 0246 FB62. So, yeah, you can go to our show notes and we'll be able to get that code to you. I trust his opinion blindly. I haven't tried the level, but if he says it's awesome, I bet he's right. And Dustin, this was the email that cracked me up. This was awesome and weird.
Okay.
So Kevin, Canadian correspondent, our good buddy, formerly of the Paranerds, He says, so I shit you not, I dreamt of you, Scott. You can read this on air, too. He says, you were walking in my old neighbor, or you were in my old neighborhood, walking around, and I saw you. And I said, holy shit, Scott, what are you doing here? And you said you were working on a new building, whatever that means. So then he says, we then went to your car, and you handed me a tape. I said, seriously? A tape? What is this, Saw? And I did this in the Jigsaw voice, and we both laughed. This is how you know it was a dream, because I wouldn't know what the Jigsaw voice was. So I watched one Saw movie and hated it, so I haven't watched anymore. He said, I put the tape in your car, and it was your podcast. And I said, oh, this is how you do it. Then you drove me home, I think. Get out of my head. Kevin sent from his iPhone. Yeah, it's weird to tell somebody that you dreamt of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically when you say that you've dreamt of somebody, it's always sexual in nature. Like when you have a bizarre dream that someone was in, you don't tell them about it. It's just like this scenario. Like he's like, yeah, you were just there and you recorded your podcast on a tape. Like that's a funny thing, but you don't usually get the chance to tell that dream, right?
Yeah.
So that was cool. So Kevin, thank you very much for thinking of me so deeply that I'm in your dreams. By the way, have you ever heard that only 10% of people dream in color? Could that possibly be true? I dream in color.
How do you know?
I vividly remember colors.
I mean, like, how do you know that statistic?
It's one of those. I don't know. How do you know that Pop Rocks could make your stomach explode? It just
Right.
gets around. I have no idea.
That doesn't seem measurable to me.
It's probably one of those bunk surveys that some college freshman did, but it was under a university name, so it got credence. And in their psychology class, if it was probably one of those surveys where if you weren't a hard yes, they put you in no. So if you're like, I don't know, or maybe, or sometimes like, that's a no.
Or that's a dumb question.
Yeah. So, but in high school, I had a dream of this girl, Kim, that I had a huge crush on. And she was wearing this yellow shirt. And that week later in school, I saw her in the halls with a similar yellow shirt. And it just blew my mind. And it made
You're
me
psychic.
It made me even like it made my crush even. I was like, "There's something here," you know what I mean? Then I'd get all nervous around her. It was terrible.
She's your density.
My density.
That was a Back to the Future reference.
Okay, yes. Sorry. So Kevin, thank you very much for that. Our good buddy Zarek is either too busy or time got away from him this week. We didn't hear from Zarek, but hopefully he still got a chance to listen to the last episode or this one.
If you live near him, go check on him.
Yes. If you're down south, just look around for a wide-eyed cat.
Right.
And then also, Duhmez has some YouTube comments. He says, I moved to a new town once, far away, and he got a cold once a month every 6 months. He was so pissed off. Normally where he lived, he got a cold once per year or year and a half. How did we get on the subject of getting colds in new places? Just you being sick?
I think, yeah, just me talking about how I'm going to cause some sort of horrible zombie virus with the way that I'm living right now.
Makes sense. You'll be the reason that Zeke spreads or whatever it's called. He's got some tips for Dustin, so if you run into any Vegas stuff, you can check out our show notes. And then also, Duhmez says he tried Doom a bit before work, and he says, holy schmoly. I maxed everything out. I maxed every setting possible, and it was smooth as butter, 60 frames a second at 1080p. He says, I prefer frame rate, so I don't give a shit about 4K or 1440p. My TV is 1080p anyways, so it remained like that until it dies. Or not, 42-inch Sony is my gaming TV, PC, console. TV all stacked at my PC desk. Oh, that's sweet. That's like Barnacles. You ever see that guy on YouTube? Barnacles Nerdgasm?
Hmm.
He has 3 4K 50-inch TVs set up and has like a dual 980s and a dual like server. Not quite server, but those like workstation Xenon processors.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one of those motherboards that has 2 of them in one motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
And so they multi-thread together even. So he's running 4K TVs. It's crazy. He has some fun stuff. I like that. I like that guy. But yeah, I agree with Duhmez. I'm a frame rate over eye candy guy every time. When it's smooth, it just feels better. I don't know.
Yeah.
So jaggies don't bother me. And honestly, if it's rendering quick enough, you're not going to notice any aliasing because you'll be moving around and you only notice the stutters. Like, how's that worth it, you know?
Why are you standing still looking at stuff anyway?
That's a good point. You shouldn't be doing that. This is a video game. You're actively supposed to be doing something. He also is a big fan of Jim Sterling. He says, Jim Sterling is my fucking hero. His copyright flag strategy is brilliant. And he says, I should have called the last episode Veiny Penises because I'm so uncomfortable saying that on air. So, there you go, Duhmez. That one's for you. But that should be it for emails, comments, all that great stuff.
We barely got rapping about weed as a title. I don't think Veiny Penises is going to make the cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Full disclosure, my mom has liked our Facebook page, so I can't get too ridiculous with the titles because that's all she'll see. She won't hear this part because this is buried deep, but I think she'll listen to the beginnings of some of the episodes. So I can't get... Because I know that I had... When I was talking about the Eagles, and you're like, they suck, and in context, I put Big Lebowski saying the Eagles suck, and I could tell that bothered her. Because the Eagles are one of her favorite bands in the world. It's the Doobie Brothers, Fleetwood Mac, and the Eagles are probably her top 3. So when we were on our way to like a baseball game as a family, and she brought it up in conversation. I'm like, she's like, yeah, I listen sometimes. I saw you put up a new episode. Yeah, I did. So, good stuff. Dustin, do you have anything to add before I do our social media stuff and talk about the outro song?
I probably have like 50 things that I want to talk about. I just can't think of a single one of them.
Throw it on Twitter.
Yeah, SNES Drunk.
SNES Drunk. Go check him out. Also, thanks again to Biff McSkylark for hosting our Twitch feed and for pointing out the fact that we are idiots and we're not even categorized, which might help our channel grow a little bit. We should do that. So, what do we know? I mean, we're like... I don't know how we're classified as millennials because we don't know what we're doing. Like, technology is slipping away from us so fast.
We're like trying to program our internet VCRs over here.
It feels like that. Like, the fact that I got OBS running is a freaking miracle. So, all right, everybody. Well, if you're interested in what we're up to, you can see comments and stuff like that from us on Twitter. We also post the episodes on Facebook, so if you like that page, you'll be notified when our new episodes post, and that's the audio version. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can get the video version, as well as we have some cool reviews coming up. I've got some hardware product reviews for some gaming accessories, and we have some homebrew games that should be pretty fun, so check out our channel for that stuff, and our podcast is there, of course. Also, we're on Stitcher, Google Play Music, and iTunes. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of places. It's just weird how, like, someone must have wrote a program, because if they've gotten that far down in the barrel that they're scraping up our show,
right?
Like, it must be a very very good web crawler that they're getting. So, but anyways, everybody, thank you very much for listening. This week's show outro song, if I can find the show notes, is by a guy on SoundCloud called Harley Likes Music. This song is called Super Duper Double Duper. It's like a really aggressive, funky sounding chiptune song. I think it's sweet. You may find it obnoxious, but not you, Dustin. I think you'll actually like it, but you, our listeners, might not like it. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds, so skip on past or enjoy it if you want to. And everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 184, and we'll see you next week for episode 185.
Boosh.